Hello and good morning to our listeners from around the world, and welcome to This Morning with Soulivity. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I am so glad you're here with us because this time is all about creating the space for all of us, including you, our listeners, to have real conversations about what is going on in our worlds. I'm joined today by very special friends and TV hosts, Sheila Applegate and D'Angelo Thompson. Good morning, my people.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Now, how are you guys? How you guys doing this morning?
I'm feeling
Sheila, you
great
can
this
take the
morning.
floor. How are you doing?
I'm feeling good.
It is a hump day, right? We got to get over the hump here.
Right.
Listen, to all of our listeners, before we begin, we want to remind all of you, we want you to comment, ask questions, give us your thoughts during every single broadcast. You can just put that right into the chats, either on Facebook or YouTube. Also, please let us know where around the world you're listening. We want to hear from you. So, y'all, let's get started. We have a very, very special guest today that I'm so excited to share with all of you so you can meet and talk with. And so let's meet LANA Love. LANA Love is a classically trained singer, songwriter, pianist, dancer, and actress. Her first LP, LANA Love, released in 2021, garnering support across Shazam and Apple Music playlist. In 2022, PBS broadcast a 1-hour live special for LANA for a crowd of over 6,000 people at Redlands Bowl. As a live performer, LANA has opened up for the likes of Snoop Dogg, Cheat Codes, and Wu-Tang Clan, and performed at South by Southwest, the Tiny Desk Contest, and John Lennon Songwriting Competition live show. LANA served as the key lyricist and assistant director for Netflix Making Malician in 2021, collaborating with prominent names in music, Nacho Cano and Hans Zimmer. She has further amassed credits with networks such as Netflix, Disney, Warner Brothers, Disney Channel, and Telemundo. LANA is recognized for her genre bending of opera, music theater, jazz, pop, and rock. She's been featured in the likes of Broadway World, Aesthetic Magazine, Pop Wrapped, Vince, and Substream. And in 2022, LANA's made her biggest US debut yet as a member of Team Legend on NBC's The Voice. So with that, I want to welcome with wholehearted love and thanks, LANA Love to this morning. Hey, girl.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad you were here. This is so cool. I've been waiting for this show for, forever. It looked like it took forever.
Well, I'm so excited to be here, Brian. Thank you for having me and for the beautiful intro. That's so sweet. And I'm just so excited and like calmly enthused.
Yeah, it feels that's the kind of energy, right? It feels so like that morning kind of sunrise and you're kind of looking out at it and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's like a peaceful vibe this morning and hopefully every morning from here on out.
Yes. Thank you. So why don't we get to some questions because I know we have limited time. D'Angelo, I know you had a couple of questions that you wanted to ask first.
Well, first, I have a few comments. LANA Love, I met you through a mutual friend a few years ago and at a dinner in my home, first and foremost. So I love to read energy when people come into my home first, So it was just light. And then watching you perform, I was like, oh, wow, this young lady is a megastar,
Oh, wow.
And yeah. Yes.
That's so sweet. Well, I feel the same way about you, and you're just a total light in this world. And we need more people like you. And I think you and I like initially just had a beautiful gravitational pull toward each other, I feel.
Yes.
And just a connection that we were like, okay, we're both on the same wavelength here.
Yes.
And we're soul tribe,
I love that.
And I feel that with you. So thank you for just being so open and receptive for having me in your life. And I think, we will be friends for a very, very long time, hopefully forever, and especially when I come to New York.
Yes,
That's
yes. I know you're in LA right now, right? And it's early.
I'm actually in Florida
Oh, okay.
for the
East
moment.
Coast.
But I will be in LA soon. So
Yes. Cool, cool.
yeah.
So Brian, I know you're a musician yourself, and you've had an opportunity to listen to LANA Love's music. Blown away, right?
Absolutely. Girl, as we say from my hometown of Detroit, you can sing.
Oh, well, that's
You can
a compliment
sing.
because that is
No,
where the real music happens right there.
absolutely.
So,
And when I was reading your bio, and you know no one can pin you down to one particular style of music or genre. I can hear in your singing that you love it all, and you just blend it all depending upon how you want to sing that particular piece. Um, so I know that you're originally from Atlanta, Georgia, but my
yeah.
question is, because I'm sure when you started out, you hear that you got to pay your dues and perfect your craft. Is that where things kind of started for you in terms of perfecting your craft, or did you leave and then things became more apparent that, okay, this is what I really want to do?
I first off, thank you. That's so kind. And you really hit the nail on the head. And I've never heard it put that way.
Hmm.
With the genre bending, it was something I was naturally inclined to. I think when I was a kid, I just wanted to learn everything. And I
Yeah.
also, I'm a Capricorn, so got that
Mm.
drive, and we
Yeah, exactly.
really learn. And so I ended up studying all these different disciplines, starting with classical music and opera. And then I kind of transitioned into musical theater and dance and just different aspects of the career, or of the job, rather. And so I think as far as perfecting the craft goes, I am by no means perfect. But I've learned how to fake it so that I can kind of just put my voice in different vibrational places is the best way I can describe it. And I know where my resonance is. And so I think any singer listening in right now uh, would understand what I'm saying, and that it's really, singing is merely an extension of perfect speech. So
Mm.
no matter what you're saying, as long as it comes from an honest place, you can apply more pressure or less. You can put it in a different vibrational space, forward or back, placement wise. And so I did, I'm technical, and
Hmm.
I think I was
Hmm.
too technical for a long time. But
Hmm.
now I kind of throw it all out and I just do what the song calls for. So hopefully that answered.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think people don't understand that, when they think of an instrument, they think of the drums or the guitar or keyboards or a trumpet or whatever. They don't understand that your body, specifically your voice box, your lungs, your mouth, your embouchure, that's all part of your instrument that you have to work on every single day. So, I really appreciate what you're doing, how you're doing it, and I can't wait for more from you in the future.
Well, thank you. There's some more coming real soon in a couple of weeks. So you will have it.
Sheila, I know you had a question.
Yeah, I want to say that the genre bending and the mix of musicals and opera and theater, jazz, rock, all of it is one of the first things that drew me into your music. But beyond that, and I hear it even more as we're talking, is it's your soul, and that you're
Mm,
using this as a
yeah.
gift to share your soul energy and resonance with the world. So I guess that's not a question yet. That's just a thank you.
No, really, thank you.
But
That's
go
why we're
ahead.
all here, and just thank you for making that a point, and that's really the reason why we do this, you know, is to
Yeah.
connect with others and to really share the truth. And I think people hear the truth above all. So no matter what genre you're singing, as long as the story that you're telling and the person that you're being when you show up is an honest version, doesn't have to be the best version, because sometimes it's not. But as
Right.
long as it's an honest version of yourself in this moment, then we did our job, you know? So
Mhm.
Yes,
And
very
you
true.
do excellent with that. And I guess the question I have is, I also, once I felt the vibration of you, I delved deeper in, and I read something where you were talking about the way music affects the human body, and you referred to the study of water, especially I think in Parachute. Um, and as an energy healer, that I just want to have you share more with me and all of us about that journey and how your knowledge of the vibrational frequency affects your music.
I love this question. It is my favorite topic of conversation right now. So thank you, Sheila. And also thank you for being an energy healer in the world. We need more. More. I really wanted to start a vibrational conversation about music and about evolution and healing through music. And so I have a new single coming up in 2 days, January 20th. It's releasing. It's called Parachute. And I'm releasing the song in 2 different frequencies. I'm releasing it in 440 hertz, which is the pop music standard, radio standard, and 432 hertz, which is a healing frequency.
Wow.
And
Ah.
I wanted people to listen and see how they feel intrinsically,
Mm.
because it's a subtle thing. I think vibration has become a hot topic of conversation because we all know that it's there, but we don't know how to explain it. We just know how to feel it. And it's a subtle feeling. But 440 hertz can create unease in our bodies. And I wanted to offer the option of listening in 432 hertz, which is meant to calm and align you from the inside out. So that was really my goal with putting it out in 2 different frequencies. And it really does, for me personally, I suffer, well, I won't say suffer, but I've had anxiety problems or issues that I've just learned to cope with. And that was one of the tools that I used. So
That's beautiful and
That's
exciting.
Wow. D'Angelo, you had a question?
Lana, I do listen to vibrational sounds at night to calm myself
yeah,
or to center myself. And ironically, at Sloan Kettering, which most of us know about as a cancer center, one of the premier cancer centers in the US, they use music, as a
wow.
tool to heal, also animals as well, but music. And I've had to visit friends there, and I noticed there are so many modalities of healing that they use, to get people better. And knock on wood, all of them were and are better. And I think that's part of it, music and sound.
Wow. Yeah. Well, if you think about it, our bodies are made up of 80% water. So when
Right.
and Sheila too, to go into that water study we were talking about, it's kind of the same conversation in that they did a study where they had 2 different water glasses. In glass A, the monks spoke kind words to the water. They played music in 432 hertz or Bach or Mozart, whatever that was. In glass B, they played pop music, screamo, and different kinds of, said hateful things to the water. And on a molecular level, when I think it was Dr. Yodo who went in and looked at the molecular structure of the water, and in glass A, the molecules turned into little snowflakes, beautiful snowflakes. And in glass B, the water turned into like a splat, a coarse splat. So I think about, what is that doing to our bodies? if we are made up of water predominantly.
Right.
So,
Right.
D'Angelo, when, they have so many studies scientifically proven to help, cancer patients, to help anyone really with with any kind of
Physical or
abnormality.
mental. Yes.
Yeah. So it's a hot topic, and I think it's something we need to just think about as a whole. This is the first time that I've really heard pop music talked about in this way, because it became standard for it to be 440 hertz in 1935.
Yeah.
So before then, it was 432 hertz.
Interesting.
So that shift happened, and now we're just all living in anxiety. And you wonder why. Like, what do we listen to? What are we feeding our bodies? So anyhow, I hope my goal with Parachute is to just put the two versions out, see how people feel on an intrinsic level, and hopefully just get the conversation started, and also help heal people. That's, the reason why I think we're all here. So anyway, I'm not my preacher box. But.
No. I think this is beautiful. I think that that higher level vibration that is behind your music and you singing, and just the purpose behind your passion is why you're being so successful. That the world needs what you are putting forth, this opportunity for a different type of experience in their body when it comes to what they listen to. Listen, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to continue this thread, because I think this is an important point about what you're offering the world, Lana. And I just want people to feel that power from that. And so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more This Morning with Soulivity in 60 seconds.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
And we are back with more from This Morning with Soulivity. We are joined by guest LANA Love, singer, songwriter, pianist, dancer, and actress. She's also currently on NBC's The Voice. She's on Team Legend. My first question, how is it like being on Team Legend? That's my first question.
Well, I am a little biased, but I got the best coach. Man, I really did. I got the best coach for me. I think John is just such a stand-up guy. He's a timeless artist, but he's a timeless person. And he really cares. And, I tell this story on the show, but I think it's an important one. When I want to say it was 6 or 7 years ago, I was living in New York, and I was catering at the time. And I actually met John, and he was performing, and I waited on him, and he was so nice to me. And watched him perform at the Apollo Theater in Harlem, and he sang Ordinary People. I put my champagne bottle that I was supposed to be pouring in people on some random table, and I just stood there in awe. And it was like I was transformed, and I knew I was going to work with him.
Wow.
I knew back then, and I'd kind of forgotten about it, just that specific instance, you know. And then when he turned for me, it all made sense. It was like a flashback to that moment, and so I love John. He's amazing, and he's great on and off camera. So
Yes.
yeah.
And that's the power of intention, right? And
Mhm.
manifestation. Sometimes we see our future and it can scare us, or we can walk into it, you know. And you moving to LA, you walked into it and ended up on The Voice, you know?
Yeah, and that was the seed. And how could I have known? You know,
You did.
we did.
Right, exactly.
We did know. My soul knew. And
Yes.
I do think that the soul will tell you and lead you if you're open. I think you're right. You know, and I love talking about manifestation. It's one of my favorite topics. And D'Angelo, I know you're big on this too. I'm sure Sheila and Brian, you are as well. And just how things come to be. I'm so curious, you know. So I think that story is important in that the flower bloomed.
Yes. Wow.
Wow.
Mm.
Speaking of manifestation, Sheila, did you have a question for Lana?
We are so in sync today that everybody's going ahead and saying
What a great Wednesday, huh?
right. Yeah, I was. Well, when you were talking though about the awe that you felt when you first were with John Legend and that knowing, and I am a manifestation coach as well, so we're right on that page again. But I'm thinking that it's such a subtlety, right? It wasn't a longing, it was a knowing it, and it was like you said, your soul was just lit up and it just knew. And I feel like from some of the conversations we've had and what I know about you, that you have followed that within yourself in each moment. And you've got some big projects coming up, I think, and you're traveling to different places and following your heart on that. And so you want to talk just a little bit about how you take each step and each knowing and where it's leading you.
What a phenomenal question, and what a great way to put longing and yearning versus knowing. Because I think we all want things, but the longing and the yearning for it means that there is some resistance on it. You know, because it's like you want something, but you recognize that it's not there yet.
Right.
So there's a gap in between X marks the spot and where you're at. And the question is really, how do we lessen that gap? And when you just know, when you can accept that you just know, and there's no resistant thought on it, there's no, oh, I wish on it, oh, I hope on it. No, it's just, okay, I'm meant to do this. And can I just allow that to be there? And I think that's how I've been able to manifest these things, because sometimes I grip on and things don't move, you know, and that's also happened in my life. So anyway, all leading up to say, I'm traveling at the end of the month for a project I was on the writing team for 7 years ago, and we did a space. The show is Making Malinche is the name of it. It was a Netflix documentary on the making of the musical. Came out last year, or rather in 2021 now, so 2 years ago technically. Forget that we're in a new space. But that I'm going back to join the cast, and I actually get to sing the final song with them. So it'll be a really just like nice bow tie on a beautiful experience. And it's funny because that I was, I think, like 23 when I started writing that.
Wow.
I would have never known.
That's amazing.
Right.
I know.
How would I have known then too? So sometimes things take time. And in fact, I think the best things do.
Mhm.
You know, so I'm just really appreciative of that. And so I'll be in Madrid for a bit and releasing Parachute while I think kind of almost while I'm there. And then I'll be back to the West Coast for a bit and just have some projects lined up. But I'm really excited for this year. I'm keeping an open mind and an open heart for new things to come in that would just light up my soul. And I think if I go in
Wow.
that direction and I think about who I want to become rather than what I want to do, you know, I find that that's a lot easier place to live because there's so much uncertainty. And as long as I'm being true to me and in alignment with that person that I'm becoming, then things will fall into place.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
That is beautiful.
That
You
is
know-
like a prayer. That's truly like a prayer what
Absolutely.
you just spoke. You know, you're in your flow. You're in your flow.
Thank you. It took a long time to get here.
You know,
But
Lana, as you were talking, I was thinking about wow, the beautiful journey that you've had, the courageousness of you allowing yourself to surrender to how your passion manifested in a purposeful way, because even as you've been going through this process of singing and creating music, you are still in alignment with your purpose of helping people, right?
thank you.
For those people that you meet, or for the people that you may not meet but are listening to this broadcast, what's one or two things that you want to say to them around living their passion and their purpose?
Mm. One thing that I told myself as I was going through the hard times is don't quit before the miracle.
Wow. Wow.
That's a big one for me.
Powerful.
And I've gotten to a place in my life where I've almost given up. You know, and I know what that feels like to watch your dream die. I know what it feels like. So I think because of that, I am able to connect with people. I am able to really understand that it will never die. Your dream will never leave you. You can't quit. There is no quitting. If it's in your soul and your soul wants you to do that, you will just spend your life trying to ignore that call. And you have to choose whether or not you want to go through as opposed to push against. So
Wow.
that would be, I think, the greatest piece of it, maybe not advice, but just messaging that I want to share. So just go for it. Just do it. Even though it's hard, even though, you know, anytime you're doing something, you're going to be met with with challenges. And I think also it's the hero's journey, you know.
Yeah.
So there's going to be the ups and downs, and it's not going to be perfect. It's not supposed to be, but I think the only way out is through.
Wow. Wow. You got me on that one. Sheila and D'Angelo know that I'm a crybaby sometimes, and I really, really, really,
I'm so
really,
happy you are.
yeah, yeah, those sacred tears, right? So that's holy water.
Yes.
That thought of don't quit until the miracle happens. I mean, that I think that's a great gift. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lana. Yeah.
Thank
You know,
you.
Lana Love, thank you for being here with us on This Morning with Soulivity.
Yes.
Much continued success to you. Would you come back and join us at some.
Please.
Oh man,
I would
yeah.
love to. You all are so generous and kind, and I can feel you from even just from my computer, and I just appreciate time and space to have a real, honest, heartful conversation. So thank you so much for having me.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Thank
you.
you. Everyone, you can find out more about Lana by visiting her website at lanalove.co. Also, we also put in the chat the 432 version of Lana's new song Parachute that you
Woo!
can check out on YouTube as well. So check that out. Keep us posted, Lana, on what you're doing. And of course, safe travels to you to Madrid. We wish we were going with you.
That's true.
Come on. You can go on my cargo. We'll wheel you in.
And so thank you for being here.
Thank
Everyone,
you all.
we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we are gonna switch over to our topics of the day. So we'll be back in just about 60 seconds.
Take care.
You can find all the Satana products at our Go shop on Soulivity at go.soulivity.com now. Shop for beauty products, skincare, hair care. It is all there at the Go shop. Go shop Soulivity.
And we are back with more from This Morning with Soulivity. I'm joined again by my beautiful co-host, Sheila Applegate. We want to thank Lana for being with us for our first half hour of the show, along with D'Angelo Thompson, who you can actually catch every Friday for his show Gratitude is a Journey. There's a new show every other week, so you want to check that out as well. Sheila, what a powerful, powerful time with Lana.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Perfect way to start the day.
I know, right? Which is what we're all about here, right? I mean, this is why we created this show, so that everybody, you could get away from the news cycle and the news that's happening there, and get something that's different. Maybe you hear about some news, but that you always get empowered from it. Want to stop real quick and let you guys know about one of our new retail partners, which is MoonPod. You've probably seen some information maybe online or on TV about them. They created this new revolution of for those of us that are a little older in age. They redesigned these new beanbag chairs and other kinds of furniture. You can check out them and what they're offering by going to our This Morning website. We're going to put that in the chat. And you can go there right now. They're offering a 10% discount on top of their ongoing discounts by using, well, you can use a Soulivity, coupon code. We'll put this all in the chat, and you can go check it out, and you can check out MoonPod. I mean, they're really, really comfortable, by the way. They're really,
Are
really
they?
comfortable. Yeah.
We
Really.
gotta try
man.
one.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Sheila, what have you been thinking about today?
Well, this is perfect because I was thinking that we could talk about a New York Times article that was entitled "How a Bit of Awe Can Improve Your Health." And I loved it. That's
Wow.
exactly what Lana said when she spoke about the first time she met John Legend. She felt that awe, which is different than yearning or even joy.
Mhm.
So yeah, so it's perfect to kind of jump into that today. And, the article said a lot of things that, I mean, my program's consciously awesome. I'm all about awe. Like, that's why I use that word. I think it gets overused. Awesome. To me, awesome, just the word awesome is that state of awe.
Right.
But we use it so casually. Sometimes I feel like I'm not expressing myself the way I mean it. But the way they talk about it in the article, um, they described it as awe is a feeling of being in the presence of something vast that transcends your understanding of the world.
Mhm.
And I've got a few different things about it to say, but what to start with, like, what do you think of when you feel awe, or what inspires you to feel awe?
We were talking about this earlier in terms of like, the creative side of me, right?
Mm,
And
mhm,
so whenever I'm in the midst of anything that is heartfelt creativity, may it be music or may it be art, that could be a sculpture or a painting or a fresco
yeah,
or whatever it is, that it just hits my heart. And I was talking about before, like me being a crybaby, but I looked at it as a positive thing.
mhm,
Um, that it opens me up. It just opens me up, and I immediately connect with source energy, and anything that I was thinking about before then that might have been in more doubt or fear completely goes away. It's something that I practice just about every day in some way, shape, or form, where I'll listen to music or I'll take a journey someplace beautiful online or virtually, and just to clear out all that clutter, you know. But that's what I think about all.
yeah. Well, I like what you say about you do it every day. You take time to do it every day, because awe is something that sometimes it just hits us, right? We're in a
Right.
situation and we can't not feel it. Like something like Lana, that moment she, saw her future, even though that's not what she realized, but just that sense of transcendence that came over her. But I do think that we can choose to feel awe as well. And for me, like with that, nature, birds, if I take the time to notice, right? If I take
Mhm.
the time to stop and talk to the birds when I walk outside, or,
Right.
I or just the trees, and, any moment. The whole world is so filled with awe. Humans just going for a walk, or seeing different people and taking time to, like, feel them and see the beauty of them. Children, like, do it
Oh,
too.
man. Oh, yeah.
Children, like, I can just shift. Those are, like, things that remind me to shift over and feel it. I'm fortunate, like, my job is odd, like, I
Right.
literally whenever I do a reading or I take people into those deep meditations of conscious meditation, like, I'm in awe, like,
Right.
it's a
Right.
literal state of awe. So I may be a little addicted to it because it's my career, but I guess that's a good thing.
You might as well face it, you're addicted to
Did
love.
or awe.
Or awe. Yeah, I mean, I would love, like, our listeners, what do you find? I mean, I'd love for you to put in the chat, what do you find around how you use awe in your life? I would love to know, like, different things,
Yeah,
because I think this is an important thing. I think this is something important for people to do on a consistent basis in their life. Um,
absolutely.
I was thinking about, I couldn't help when you said children, our grandbaby popped up
Oh,
in our
yeah.
head, and she is so in the moment at every moment of time. There's no, like, thinking about tomorrow or when am I getting
Right.
fed or none of that. It's all like, oh, that's something interesting. Let me go check that out, you know?
How old is she now?
She will be 1 this month.
What a fun. I thought that we were getting close to 1. Yeah. What a fun time.
Oh,
Everything's
man.
new.
I know. You should have. I wish all of you could have seen her at Christmas time around all the presents. It was like she went from, "Okay, what is going on here?" to, "Wait a minute. All this is for me?" And then she's just like smiling from ear to ear. Again, all in the moment. She was completely in the moment. And so I love it. I love this topic. I love this topic, Sheila. Great topic.
Yeah, and in the article, they quote this Dr. Keltner, who's a psychologist at the University of California in
Hmm.
Berkeley. And he has a book out, which I haven't read yet, but I'm definitely going to. It's called The New Science of Everyday Wonder and How It Can Transform Your Life, which just is perfect, right?
Right. It's very perfect.
But one of the things he says is that awe is critical to our well-being, just like joy, contentment, and love. And his research suggests that it has a tremendous health benefit that includes calming your nervous system and
Mm.
triggering the release of oxytocins,
Hmm. Hmm.
the love hormone.
Right.
So, and they talk a lot about the vagus nerve, which I have been into. So the vagus nerve like goes from our head all the way down our spine, and mine was overactive with some of my autoimmune disorders, and it can create a lot of havoc on the body when it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know about that.
Yeah, and in fact, I didn't when my friend who's a massage therapist, after I had been struggling, even after I got the diagnosis and everything, when I was struggling and it still wasn't calming down, and I explained it to my friend who's a massage therapist, she said, "Your vagus nerve is overactive." And
Hmm.
just telling me that, I started researching the vagus nerve. It's like that gave me the insight to know where to go and how to heal it.
Wow. So it's a part of ourselves too that may cause like anxiety
Yes,
and
it triggers like, if you feel that fight or flight,
mhm, mhm,
and it runs down your whole body and out into your limb, like, if you ever had that, like, where you feel like it washes over you,
mhm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
that's the vagus nerve. It literally goes through the spine and then out into every vital organ. It's crazy.
Wow.
I say that
Wow.
without autonomy knowledge. So if I'm off a little bit on that, but I did look it up, and yeah, it like hits everything. Like so many of the pains, that the random pains that I was having, all were attached to this.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, when I
Yeah.
think about it, because the fight or flight, everyone. I mean, it originates from the brainstem, um,
Mhm.
and the brainstem, of course, is one of the almost part of the first parts of the body that's formed when you're a baby, right, in the
Right.
womb, because it's about protection, about protecting you from outer things that may harm you, like other animals. I mean, this is not just human being. All animals, the brainstem forms first, and
Mhm.
so it makes a lot of sense that if you're feeling that way and that this nerve would trigger just about everything in your body because it's originating there, right? So
Right.
adrenaline and other things probably are turned on, and man, that's good to know. I'm gonna research that. I'm gonna,
Yeah. Yeah, you should, because you know, c- doctors kept asking me if I was anxious, and my description would be, my body's anxious. Like, I know my
yeah,
body is
yeah, yeah.
responding with anxiety, but my head isn't.
Right,
I've done the
right.
work mentally and emotionally. Not, and I think, that's important. Do the mental and emotional work that is attached, because trauma is one of the things that would trigger that. But if you're still like, you've done a lot of your work, like you've done your work, and if your
Right, right.
body's
And
still responding like
continuing.
that, you
Yeah.
definitely want to think about that. But Dr. Kelter also talks about the psychological benefits just of being in awe too. Like
Right.
it will reduce your negative self-talk.
Woo.
Yeah.
You
Which is
know,
cool, right?
that is, yeah. I mean, because I think when you become more aware, like especially if you have a daily meditative practice or mindfulness practice where you quiet yourself and your mind, you become more aware of that negative self-talk, right? You can
Mhm.
literally hear it instead of it being just something that's happening, right?
Right. Right.
So that's all good. Wow.
Yeah. It's
What
awesome.
it's awesome, right? Right. I'm awestruck by that.
Oh, we're so funny.
I know, right? Right, right, right. Um, we're gonna just continue on. We'll take a break in a minute, but I wanted to now, everyone, I'm going to preface this topic by saying that the the issue that's related to the topic is probably a little negative. And I'll just say it because it's something that I think we all deal with on a consistent basis, especially when we're watching the news or whatever. And I know, Sheila, you probably know about this because I know you stay up on different news and current events when you can. Now, about maybe a week or so ago, you heard the story about the 6-year-old that had the gun
Mhm.
and went to school, and that 6-year-old shot their teacher,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And this week I read that not a few weeks after that, a gun trade show in Las Vegas is hosting a manufacturer
Mm.
promoting its JR-15 child size AR-15 rifle.
Oh, man.
And I want to be clear. I don't want to talk about, we're not going to discuss gun safety and all that stuff. That's not what the purpose of
Right.
this topic is.
Right.
The purpose of the topic is that I got so angry
Mm.
about it. And I'm just wondering, I know how I kind of move through those experiences where something pisses me off that much because we
Mhm.
can't just hold on to that.
Right.
I just, I wanted to kind of talk about, like, especially with the amount of news that all of us consume on a regular basis, even when we turn stuff off, right?
Right.
Because even if you turn off the TV, you get alerts on your phone or you look at social media and there'll be something that's there. I mean, we can't completely unplug because we all use electronics. We all use the internet on an ongoing basis. And so I was wondering, Sheila, like, how do you move through those experiences? How when you see something on in the news cycle that really pushes your button, what do you do?
Well, I'm excited to answer that. Are we gonna go for a break first or
Yeah, why don't we take some time? Why don't we take a quick break and then we come back, we'll continue this. And audience, why don't you think about this too? How do you move through those experiences when you see something in the news cycle or something on TV that really, really pushes your button? Okay. And we would love to hear from you. Just throw that in the chat, throw your comments or questions in the chat, and we'll get to those. So we'll be right back in just about 60 seconds.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Soulivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on Soulivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Yes, we want to remind you that today at 12 noon is another episode of Consciously Awesome Living with Sheila Applegate. Sheila, you're talking about beliefs today, correct?
Yes. Yep.
All right. So tune in right here on social media or on our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to watch that. So we were talking about, things that may get to us in the news cycle or on TV, and how not to kind of hold on to it, how to kind of like move through it. And so Sheila, you had some comments about that.
Yeah, I do. Let's start before we're gonna watch the news cycle.
Okay,
And
perfect.
like, I think that I do a surrendering, a prayer, or sometimes for me at this point, it's just this alignment that I do with all the different energy frequencies within what I call my vortex of energy. And
Right,
I just
right.
make sure it's all aligned. And I do that when I wake up in the morning for the whole day, but then I try to do it throughout the day, especially if I'm moving in spaces like social media or the news or something where I might be triggered by it. And what that does is allow me to experience what is the emotion that's bringing up, to be knowledgeable about what's going on, because I do think it's important to have some idea of what's going on, understanding that the way our news is presented to us is meant to trigger us. Like, that's
Right,
what's happening. And so
right,
if we know we're being meant to be triggered, and then
right.
we go into that knowing that we can sort of look for the information beyond the manipulation, and then embrace all the emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. I think that our practice has to be something that is proactive. I know that even with this story about this 6-year-old, which I got angry about. Okay, the parents, why does your 6-year-old have access to your gun? And then our society as a whole here in America that has a huge gun culture um, component to it, why we're now, um, you know, selling this kind of
Right.
weapons for parents to give to their children. And I have feelings about that. That I think the only way that I was able to make it through by doing something that you just said, and that is you have to have a practice outside of it that allows you to see it, you can feel it, and then you release it. And then maybe even learn something from that experience that maybe you didn't know that you were supposed to learn,
Mhm.
right? Um, so yeah, I mean, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Sheila. Um, yeah, because I mean, there's so much out there, and I'm not saying that people that you just unplug from the world and current events. I don't think that that's helpful at all. I think that we do need to know what's going on in the world, and we need the information so that we can make conscious decisions about things that are going on in our life, like voting and
Right.
who we support in terms of philanthropic work and that kind of deal. But there's a lot of manipulation going on, and that we have to be clear on how we're going to handle that.
And I think anger is a good emotion to have. I don't
Yeah,
see
right. Yeah,
emotions as good and bad.
right.
Anger is an action emotion.
Thank you for
And
that.
the
Thank you.
thing is to stop and think about what action we want to take. So we can get angry and just be in a bad mood for the day, or we can acknowledge the anger and where it's coming from. If there is something that needs to change in our life or in society, and we have an ability to influence that, it's important to take action with it. But it's that clarity that we have beyond the manipulation that helps us know what action to take.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so thank you for that. This is
Yeah.
another great topic. I thought I was a little concerned that the topic was going to get a little, be a little downer. But I think what people need to understand is that there's no good or bad emotions, and that we feel what we feel. We're human beings, we are emotional beings, and it's how we deal with those emotions that's most important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, great. This was a great show.
It was again. What a way to start our morning.
No, right? This is. I think we'll do this again tomorrow.
Have a wonderful day. Yeah,
We'll have a
let's do
wonderful
a
morning.
wonderful morning. I think we should do that.
Right. Speaking of which, on tomorrow's show, we're going to be welcoming Dr. Karen Johnson. She is the author of Living Grieving, which I featured on my show Soulivity Weekend. She's going to be talking a lot about her book and how, when we're going through our lives and we have those natural moments where people make transition to what I call the other side of the veil,
Mhm.
that we have a process that we can follow that is hopeful in us healing whatever wounds that may come up during that time. So I'm really looking forward to that conversation with her tomorrow. And Sheila, you'll be here
I
along
will.
with
Yeah.
our other Soulivity TV host, Teresa Greco, tomorrow. So I also want to remind you that today again is another edition of Consciously Awesome Living with Sheila Applegate. She'll be talking about beliefs today, which is a excellent way of spending your lunchtime. And that's also going to be available on our Soulivity YouTube channel as well. Sheila, any final thoughts that you want to talk about? Or, any things that you're kind of offering at this time that you want to tell people about?
Sure. Energy healing today with LANA, and I do have Zach and I have a fractal illumination gathering coming up on February 11th, and that's in person for people who are in Central New York or want to visit Central New York in February.
Wow,
But it's
nice.
also we don't project it online, like it's not where you would sit online, but we have it open for people to register to receive the energy through that day.
Right.
And many people have signed up who weren't there in person, but have had really positive events. So you can learn about that on SheilaApplegate.com. And then even before that, of course, on the 8th of every month, I do the Matrix of Illumination on Aspire, which is always a lot of fun. I open up to the divine to bring in messages that are important to us right now.
Excellent. And we'll put all this in the chat later on, or you can go to soulivity.com/Sheila-Applegate for information there, and at SheilaApplegate.com. So, wow, this is a great show. I'm a little sad that we're going to be ending it soon.
But there's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow. And don't forget, we're going to have Dr. Karen B. Johnson with us tomorrow.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, that's going to be a good show. So go on either Facebook or YouTube. You can set a calendar and a reminder for that. You can catch all of our rebroadcast by going to soulivity.com/this-morning and listen to all the podcasts that are there. You can download it to your favorite podcast provider, Spotify, Tumblr, whatever it is, we support it. So with that, on behalf of myself and Sheila Applegate, I want to say thank you for joining us for another great episode of This Morning with Soulivity. We hope that you come back and join us every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern. And you can listen to the rebroadcast of this program at 11 a.m. Eastern for all of you on the West Coast. So until next time, keep having real conversations with passion and purpose, and create a life full of high quality living. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.
Have a great day.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.